I did not feel like making this video today. And I'll bet you can relate. Are there days where you know you've got a film for YouTube and you're like, I just don't have it in me today? Those are the days that in an age of AI are the most important days. Why? Because they make you human. And that's what I want to talk about today. The different ways that you can actually use your humanity, what makes you human, vulnerable, imperfect, how that is your greatest superpower in an age of ChatGPT. If you're new here, I'm Shirley, a former television journalist turned video and visibility coach for entrepreneurs. I help them create standout brand videos that gets them noticed, trusted, and hired. And this is not just going to be another, technology is changing the trust deficit type of video. This is going to be about the fundamental shifts that I'm seeing in 2025 that is differentiating the entrepreneurs who are just copying everyone else or using AI to paper over what they do or just, churn out content at what they think is the right cadence and scale and speed. And those who are actually genuinely connecting with people and exploding their businesses right now because they're using human videos strategically and in a way that makes people really want to connect with them. Look, before I hit record, I put this all into Claude. I typed out some of the ideas that I had, what I wanted to say, the keywords, all of the things you're supposed to do. And I'm staring at the script and I just want to jump off script. Because the way I film my videos is I get inspiration, I get ideas. I have a script written, but I don't read it. I don't even close to read it. I have ideas that are put in there that I know I'm going to jump from one idea to the other. And I do script the very beginning and the very end. But today I decided, you know what? I'm not going to script the top. I'm just going to start talking like a real person because I think that's fitting for the type of video that I want to create right now. And I want to address something that I know is on the minds of a lot of entrepreneurs. Look, this video didn't start with like the right keywords in the first few words. Perhaps it has a good title. I may change it by the time you watch this from the one that I started. But at the end of the day, I really just wanted to sit here and talk to you person to person. Like there's no veneer, there's no polish or shine. This is just like what you see is what you get. And in particular, I want to talk about this phenomenon of how AI has completely overtaken what you see on video, definitely on captions and anything text related on social media. You can totally tell. And I know you know what I'm talking about when you see a post and you're like, oh, that was written by AI. And one of the most disappointing things I'm seeing lately is people that I've really looked up to, creators on different platforms, especially platforms where you can have a post that goes along with what you're saying, which is supposed to be just as impactful. And I read it and I'm like, oh, they totally used ChatGPT to write that. And it's so disappointing because I immediately stop feeling like they're speaking to me. So if you're a business owner, if you're an expert, if you're someone who wants to sell their expertise, their services, their knowledge, this is for you. And you're going to want to watch through this video because I'm going to walk through a framework to ensure that you put only your best stuff forward, your most authentic stuff, the stuff that makes you human, the stuff that is going to get clients knocking on your door to work with you. You see, the entrepreneurs that are getting noticed in 2025, yes, there's the ones who have established followings, and they can do some of these things without really suffering the consequences because they already have such a loyal audience. But if you're someone who is starting to grow or looking to grow on social media, on YouTube in particular, which at the time of this recording, that's me. I mean, I don't have a huge following, but I am gaining some momentum. You're going to want to lean into this type of video because it is going to be the thing that makes you stand out from the rest of those people. And this is something I call the human authority reel. For some of my clients and people who know me, it's also a sizzle reel. It can be a promo reel for your business, like a resume video or video resume. There's lots of different ways to refer to this type of video, but it's a format of video. It's a framework that I think is one of the strongest ways to tell stories out there. And it's really using that combination of your personal experience with your expertise to pull people into a story and get them to take action. I want to talk to you about how your lived experience, the patina on you, the things that make you less than polished, less than perfect. In 2025, those are the things that AI can't touch, that an algorithm can't replicate, and that algorithms will be seeking out because people are demanding that kind of content. I come from the television news world where things had to be perfect, or at least as perfect as possible, as they could be before we got to air. But one thing that I really had to adapt to when I became a digital entrepreneur and I started creating a lot of content was that things not only didn't have to be perfect, but shouldn't be perfect. So things like jump cuts, things like maybe a shaky shot, maybe not showing up totally made up, or having, different types of videos that maybe show different personality sides or reveal a vulnerability about you that maybe you didn't want to before. All of that stuff is really resonating in 2025. And I find from my own videos that when I let my hair down a little bit, when I am vulnerable, when I talk about things that I'm working on, when I show people the process behind the scenes, all of this like stuff that still establishes you as an authority but shows the human side of things. Those are the videos that are getting the most engagement. Those are the ones that actually lead to clients reaching out, and they are reaching out. I'm in a position where the videos that I've created on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram over time, people have started consuming those more and more, and they know what I'm about. So when they finally do encounter me, they already feel like they know, like, and trust me. And maybe you're one of those people, maybe you don't know me at all, and you can continue watching my content, learn more about me, about my vibe, about my style. I don't read a teleprompter because I think that's fake. In fact, the other day I was recording something and I was in a bit of a pinch, and it was an audio only thing, and I read the script. And afterwards I was like, whoa, that doesn't even sound like me. Because when you have a script in front of you that you're reading, something gets lost between you and the camera. So the first tip I have for you is ditch the teleprompter, ditch the reading. It's okay to not say the words perfectly. It's okay to talk like a human being. Because guess what? That's what people want you to do. Look, there's a lot of people pushing AI these days. I always talk about it. I'm a huge fan of it. I use it every day. But it's about getting first drafts. It's about refinement. It's about strategy. It's not about like writing my stuff for me. And what a lot of people don't realize is that in this age of AI everything, your flaws, your humanity, that is your superpower. Your humanity isn't becoming less valuable, it's actually becoming your greatest asset. And the entrepreneurs who are winning are those who push past the urge to just let AI do everything and actually speak to their audiences like real people, imperfections and all. Much of what passes for authenticity in marketing today actually feels really manufactured. And all those let's be honest and here's the truth phrases have been so overused that now they actually sound like AI. They're the cliches that you should avoid. Meanwhile, AI is getting better and better every single day at writing content better than some of us can write, and also at creating content that even looks human. Knowledge is no longer your competitive advantage. Knowledge is free. So it can't just be all your tips or your best practices or, giving people information. They can get that so easily. They don't have to watch your whole video. I downloaded a tool the other day that is actually a pop-up sidebar where there's an AI agent and I can just hit run on a TLDR, too long, didn't read. And it'll tell me everything in a video or everything on a website. I don't even have to watch or read. So just giving information is a strategy that is going to cause you to lose clients and miss out on opportunities, because people might not even tune into those types of videos anymore because they don't have time. They don't have time to get more knowledge. What they want is implementation support. What they want is real world examples. What they want is case studies of people like them who got the results that they're looking for. So those are the types of videos that are going to win in 2025 and beyond, in this age of AI, where you can even now get AI to edit your videos, to create your videos. You don't even have to show up on camera anymore. And for someone like me who built her entire career on video, that's really depressing. The threshold for authenticity, where your audience has this filter for detecting genuine human connection, has never been more sensitive. People are onto it. So, what is happening out there in the video world right now, and how do you adapt to it as a small business owner? Let's dive into that next. First, content saturation has reached a critical mass. Your audience isn't just overwhelmed, they're increasingly suspicious of content sources. The more you can show your human side, where you're stumbling over words, not perfectly polished, the more authentic you'll be. Perfection has actually become something to avoid. The second part is about the commoditization of knowledge and information. So if we're in a world now where AI can create the same or better knowledge than you can impart yourself, you need to shift your focus to actually applying that knowledge and to analyzing things and to giving your take, your opinion on things. Because what AI can't replace is your lived experience, your unique lens, your human instincts, and most importantly, the clients that you've helped, the people that you've dealt with, the stories from your experience, from their experience, the things that are really moving the needle and getting people to say, oh, I can totally relate to that, or, oh, I really want to do that, or I really want that result. Trust has changed as well. And what I mean by that is that people can look up information, they can fact check, there are bots, there are AI agents to fact check, but what they want is they want that human analysis. They're not just looking for information, they're looking for human judgment they can rely on. They want to know there's a real person making real decisions in real time about real situations. One way you can apply this in your content is think about if you have testimonials on your website, on your social media pages. Stop relying on written testimonials. Anybody can write those. People don't believe them anymore. Sure, you can show snapshots from Facebook and it's like, oh, that must be real because it looks like it's written in the font. But AI can create anything. So you should be getting your testimonials on video. I know not all clients are going to want to do this or play ball, but having that request, just ask, right? You can ask, they can say no. But I'll bet you, and I have found, that a lot of clients will say yes, and they will put their mugs on video. And then it becomes someone else talking about you on video, and you can't dispute that that's human and authentic and real. So one of the human authority or so-called sizzle reels that you can make is actually a sizzle reel of testimonials about you, your offer, your program, your service, whatever it is. If you want to maintain that trust factor and really ramp up the trust with your audience, having those video testimonials, having case studies where you're actually talking to the clients themselves, interviewing them. How cool would that be? Because then it really tells a story and it's two people having a conversation, which is something that AI could never replicate. I mean, Google Notebook did it, but you know what I mean. I want to be clear about something. This isn't about being vulnerable in the sense that you're oversharing, that you necessarily need some kind of personal tragedy or share something deeply private that you don't want to just to get clients. Who wants to do that? And let's face it, that's not authentic either, because if you feel like you're forcing yourself to do it and it doesn't come to you naturally, then you probably shouldn't be sharing it in the first place. I'm talking about strategic authenticity. This isn't like authenticity with an agenda, but it's sharing something, an area of your expertise or your experience that is uniquely human. And you do it in a way that genuinely increases connection with people. One thing I hear about a lot from clients and people that I talk to is, oh, I don't have any interesting stories. There's nothing super important that happened in my childhood. It was pretty normal. I played with my friends. My parents were really nice to me. That doesn't have to be your story. In fact, sometimes the most profound stories come from the most mundane, everyday experiences. A conversation you had with your mom, something that happened while you were driving to work, something at the grocery store. These don't have to be these epic Hollywood stories, and you don't have to be this hero in the sense of the word when they talk about the hero's journey. The hero can simply be the person who made it back from the store after the milk exploded in the bag or whatever it is, right? So think about those stories. And if you're having trouble doing this, I recommend you journal about it. Think about the pillars of your business, the pillars of your content, what you talk about. And then take some time to really sit with that and think, okay, let's say you're a money coach. And you think about money, and specifically, you're thinking about, let's say, debt and how debt makes you feel. If you think about it long enough, you'll come up with some stories that illustrate that in a way that is so much better than just talking about it up here, right? So I'll never forget the day I went to the store and I saw a pair of shoes I really wanted, and you describe the color and the way that they fit and kind of paint a picture for people. But I knew that my daughter also needed shoes. So I left the shoes at the store and I went to this other store. It's just a very simple example that I'm giving you, but you can see what I mean. There are everyday life examples, and these are the ones that people relate to. In fact, the more obscure or tragic or, outlier your story, sometimes the harder it is for people to relate to it. So don't be afraid to tell what you think are mundane, everyday stories and examples to get your point across and really create those connections with your audience. I work with clients to create what I call these human authority reels, or sometimes sizzle reels if they're more of like a promotional video. And this format really positions you as an irreplaceable expert in your field. It showcases your perspective and experience in a way that AI could never replicate. So some ways you can apply this: acknowledge a current reality your audience is experiencing. I'm not talking about like some of the cliche stuff maybe you've been using on sales and landing pages. I mean like real examples. So let's say you're an interior designer and you want to help people feel like they have a less cluttered home. Just saying helping you have a less cluttered home is kind of vanilla, right? Like that doesn't sound very creative. It doesn't really give me a visual. It doesn't really paint a picture in my mind of what you're talking about. But if you say something along the lines of, make sure that when you come into your house, you don't have 20 pairs of kids' shoes all mismatched to wade through to be able to hang up your coat. How much more specific was that? How much more could you actually picture that, especially if you're a parent and you have little kids? And oh my God, I don't even want to look at my mudroom right now. The second one is sharing your unique point of view that comes from your lived experience. So think the specific path that led to where you are today. How did you get there? What are some decisions that you had to make? What are some sacrifices you made? What would you do differently or tell someone that to do that maybe you wish you had known when you started? And the third would be demonstrating nuanced judgment. So showing how you navigate complex situations, especially where there isn't a clear-cut answer, because there's a lot of polished perfection out there. Oh, I do this, this is what my expertise is, and every single time it goes perfectly well. People want to know what doesn't go well, and it doesn't mean they're going to be turned off from working with you. It just means they want to see a specific situation where maybe you had a challenge or you worked through a problem with someone, and you can show the creative way that you actually navigated that situation. And that might overcome an objection that's like, well, will this work for me because XYZ, I have this problem or this unique circumstance. People are dynamic. They're not all the same. And people don't want cookie cutter solutions. So don't show them cookie cutter solutions. Show them how you tackle solutions, especially when challenges come up along the way that you didn't anticipate. How are you nimble? How do you think on the fly? What is it going to be like to work with you when something goes wrong or something doesn't work? Or how do you handle adversity? A lot of people aren't showing this in their content. And I guarantee you, if you start doing that, it is going to boost your views, your engagement, and also your sales. It's what gets clients to sit up and pay attention and really see themselves in your story. So I hope this was helpful, knowing that AI is always going to be able to churn out more, faster, say it better sometimes than you can, though not always, but it is getting better with each and every day. And we are only barely, not even scratching the surface of what this technology can do. So rather than either staying away from it entirely or letting it do everything, can we find a happy medium where you are using it to help, never start on a blank page, help with ideation, help with brainstorming, help you get yourself started? Or let's say you are started and you're like, what am I missing? How could this be better? Use it as a brainstorming partner, but ultimately bring your own humanity and experience and real sense of human touch to your videos, and stop cutting out the stumbles, start telling real stories, and just really start connecting with people. And remember, when you talk to the camera, talk to one person, not a whole group of people. You're not on a stage, you're having an intimate conversation. And if you want to learn more about how you can actually use AI to become better on camera, check out this video because I'll walk you through some really cool ways that I've been using it to do just that.